Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to continue to be your daily advocate. If you're new here or you're not subscribed for any reason, please do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe button. Thank you to all of you who have been watching and following me for so long. It truly means a lot, and I'm glad that I can be this person.
If Ripple settles with the SEC, as it turns out, they will be silenced for life. I kid you not, and that includes Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple co-founder Chris Larson, because they're defendants as well. Silenced for life. So all of the internal stories, even if 100% true, that anyone from Ripple or the two named individual defendants, anything that they would spout, no matter how true, if they were to cite specifics, they would face serious legal consequences and potentially a reopening of the case. I had no idea this existed. The SEC has run settlements like this for 5 decades, as it turns out. And I came across this fact, which I find absolutely repulsive, because Attorney John Deaton put out a tweet where he wrote in parts the following: "My God, just when you believe you can't think less of the SEC, you learn this. They want to silence you when you win." So folks, I wanted to highlight this because as things stand right now, if there is a settlement, we're never going to get to hear the stories behind this and the truth. We're never going to hear. Now we'll get to hear whatever parameters are announced. Of course, the SEC is going to want to position this as a win if there's a settlement for them. They want to position it like that. So there will probably be some sort of massive fine. We'll get to know about that. We'll have some sort of clarity surrounding SEC and on a go-forward basis, can it be sold by exchanges? All that type of stuff would be favored. It would be in the positive. Let's just say that. But all of the rest of it, we'll never get to know. And I'm going to share with you why, along with the specifics here. Really grinds my gears. But before going any further, I do want to be clear that I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. John Deaton is the reason that I came across this information. I came across this again first last night, and my mind was blown. There's an organization, a not-for-profit entity called New Civil Liberties Alliance, and they put together a little explanatory video because, as it turns out, what they're seeking to do is ask the Supreme Court of the United States to take up a case in which this would finally be challenged, this decades-long gag order, effectively, that has been a part of every single settlement, again, for 5 decades. Mark Cuban, actually, yes, that Mark Cuban, he is aware of this as well, and he tweeted out the same information, and he wrote the following: "The SEC wants to use cases they win as precedent. Cases they lose, they want them silenced. This changes precedent and prevents investors from learning from them. Why, Gary Gensler? I thought you were bringing fairness and justice to the SEC. You can change this." And so I'm going to share with you a transcription that I typed up myself here of this video from the New Civil Liberties Alliance. And check this out. It's truly mind-blowing that this is real. Freaking SEC. Man, had they... I just... Like most people, you're going through your life. If something's brought to your attention and you delve in deeper at various times in life, things like that happen to varying degrees. I'm telling you, I had no reason to look into the SEC to any meaningful degree until they sued Ripple. And what I have learned about this repulsive organization in the little over the last, a little over a year that I've been looking into this and covering this case, it has truly been eye-opening. It really has. And people want bigger government. I don't get it. You want more of this crap because it is what it is, folks. But check out this transcription here. "Justice is blind, and everyone should have a fair chance to defend themselves. But when a government agency brings charges against you in its own internal court, innocent people don't stand a chance, and their reputations are forever destroyed. At the SEC, 98% of cases settle because ordinary Americans cannot afford to fight the powerful agency. And the moment defendants settle, they are silenced for life. The SEC has been coercing defendants for 5 decades with a gag rule that forbids defendants from speaking the truth at risk of re-prosecution." Folks, did you hear that part? They've been doing this for 5 decades. Silence for life. It's a gag order. And if you don't abide by that, because it's a required part of settlement terms, you could be re-prosecuted. Pure insanity here. And then the transcription continues. But that is not how justice works. The gag rule prohibits truthful speech and infringes the public's right to hear criticism of these agencies. As a people, we should never tolerate the injustice of the government silencing defendants. Does anything offend the First Amendment for more than the government's censorship of speech? That's the quote. Blown away, folks. Absolutely blown away that this is happening in the United States. Unreal. And so, from what I understand at this point, and I don't know anything about this organization. I'm familiar with the ACLU, but New Civil Liberties Alliance is the first time I've ever heard of them. They claim to be a nonpartisan entity. Again, it's a claim. I don't know if it's true or not, but from what they've cited here, it does seem to look pretty bad. In fact, take a look at this. Let me share with you a few excerpts from this page on their official website, breaking this down further, so you can see just how bad this is. And again, you can kiss any explanation from Ripple goodbye if there's a settlement in terms of what actually went on behind the scenes, the rationale, and you know that just means insufficient clarity for the rest of the crypto space as well. Nobody can even learn anything from this whole process. Ridiculous. These people are just complete assets. They are just monsters. So take a look at this. And this is literally put on their website yesterday. This is all brand new stuff here. Washington, D.C., April 25th, 2022. Prominent constitutional law and First Amendment scholars, including former ACLU President Nadine Strossen, American investors and entrepreneurs Elon Musk, Mark Cuban, Philip Goldstein, and Nelson Obus, and 10 liberty-minded organizations have filed amici curiae briefs in support of the arguments presented by the New Civil Liberties Alliance in Barry D. Romeril vs. Securities and Exchange Commission. So that's the name of the actual lawsuit, Barry D. Romeril vs. Securities and Exchange Commission. NCLA, a nonpartisan nonprofit organization, filed a petition for a writ of certiorari, if I said that right, and I probably didn't, in March, asking the Supreme Court to review the SEC's rule that any settlement with it must include a lifetime restraint on speech. Again, I can't get over the fact that this is real. Like, they don't want us to know what to think about this. Us here as XRP holders, assuming there's settlement, which seems most probable to me, I think that's the most likely outcome. Maybe it doesn't happen, but assuming a settlement occurs, which I think would be fantastic, they can't even talk about it. Anyway, the piece continues. The lawsuit challenges the constitutionality of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission's gag orders that have silenced thousands, including the petitioner in this case, former Xerox Chief Financial Officer Barry Romeril. As a result of the SEC's gag policy, Mr. Romeril has been unable fully to discuss his case publicly for over 18 years. The decree embodying the SEC's demands is an unconstitutional prior restraint, a sort of order the Supreme Court has described as, quote, the most serious and the least tolerable infringement on First Amendment rights, end quote. I can't believe that is this the first time that anybody's tried to combat this thing? And again, the way it works in the United States is the Supreme Court understands they're not required to take on every single case that's thrown their way. In fact, it's just a small percentage of cases they take. This one seems like they should probably take it up. You're talking about First Amendment rights here. What's more important in America? I mean, and then First Amendment rights, it's what the country was effectively founded on, this whole concept. You're trying to get away from tyranny back in 1776 when the damn country was founded. Doesn't this seem kind of crucial here? So hopefully the Supreme Court takes this up. And then there's this. Here's a quote, and this is from Peggy Little, Senior Litigation Counsel at this organization, NCLA. For 50 years, the SEC has leveraged its enormous power to impose crushing defense costs to silence for life any target's criticism of the agency. These eloquent amici lay out shocking examples of the gag's role in permitting SEC to prosecute innocent parties and hide other agency misconduct. They expose that the SEC's gag creates a misbegotten scheme by which the government, despite the First Amendment, silences speech even private parties would not dare to attempt. Finally, amici peel back the procedural and substantive contortions of the decision below that effectively overruled its own precedents and jettisoned binding Supreme Court doctrine. End quote. You're not surprised, are you, though? I mean, it's like, okay, fine. Hopefully this doesn't sound contradictory. Like, it's kind of shocking in a way, but it doesn't mean that I'm surprised. Like, there's all sorts of shocking things that I've learned about the way that the SEC has conducted itself. But I continue to be, there can be all these completely outrageous things that I keep getting revealed. And so as a result, it's not that it's surprising that we're going to continue to find shocking stuff, right? That's really mostly what I'm saying. I hope that makes sense. I don't think this will be the last thing that's uncovered, but wow. The typical American citizen certainly is clueless about this. If not for the SEC versus Ripple case, I wouldn't know this. It's outrageous, though. So I don't know exactly what the timeline would look like for this, but hopefully, I'm willing to bet all of you listening, I'm sure you probably feel the same as me. I think any unbiased person would be like, yes, this is very bad. It seems pretty damn clear. I just don't know how they've been getting away with it for so long. It's just astonishing. So I'll let you know how this thing unfolds. It's probably going to take a while. I don't know. I mean, and again, also, the Supreme Court doesn't have to take this up. I hope they do, based on what I know at this point. I would hope they certainly would. But I don't know if this is something that's going to take years and years. Ripple case presumably be settled by then. Though if it's the case, I'm hoping, it would have to be the case, that if this is taken up by the Supreme Court, and as it turns out that Barry D. Romero ends up winning against the SEC on this particular case, presumably, retroactively, it'd be able to go back and anybody that had this gag order filed against them, that presumably that would be lifted, or else what the hell? It's like, why are we doing this otherwise? So I think it would probably apply to everything. And then can you imagine the stories that will come out from the last 5 decades as people can finally speak the truth?
So enjoy your day, everybody. I'm always here for you. Leave any comments or questions below, and be sure to subscribe. But thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you. Enjoy your day, and I always have your back. So thanks so much, everybody.